Hello everyone, Kevvl here. So I was just putting the finishing touches on today's video when I realized I forgot to record an intro. Lovely, especially considering I already saved over my old file. Ah well, today I am excited. Why? Because our next opponent is the single most extreme Maverick ever. In name, in stage, and in boss, you can't get much more awesome than Mattrex. He used to be in Repliforce, but he decided to take over a volcano and use it for weapons storage, so they kicked him out. He's named after Matt Sorum, who used to be the drummer of Guns N' Roses. His Japanese name is almost as awesome as his English one. It's Burn Dino Rex. Hell yeah! Mattrex doesn't have a weapon, he just burns people to death with the force of his gaze. He's got the booster engine for the shuttle, but none of that matters, because if we don't defeat him, his mere existence will destroy the world! Being a fire-based Maverick, Mattrex lives in a volcano. Just about all the other fire-based Mavericks either live in volcanoes, or live in a place where Reploids are sent to be scrapped. Burn Rooster actually lives in a volcano where they do that. Go figure. The flaming dragon heads are called Dragon Magma, and you can bypass almost all of them. I do prefer to wait here, but it's not really necessary. It just is a bit safer. And here, Aelia is a complete nuisance. More than usual, anyway. If you try and jump over that Terra Noid, she'll stop you. And here, well, you'll see in a moment why it's a very monumentally bad idea to be talking to X. You see, folks, this will happen. If you're not in the safety of the cool areas of the rocks, you'll die instantly. Titanium may be the strongest wood, but X cannot handle that. Also, a weird thing about that rock wall, you might have noticed my shots were deflected, but only in certain areas. It changes every single time you go through the level, which is weird and not actually important, just weird. Doesn't really affect gameplay at all, but whatever. Also note, the bottom platform there does not protect you, so don't try and sit there. The background is still melted behind it, and fire goes right through it. I normally wouldn't mention something that trivial, but if we go over the Paroids, we'll find a similarly sized platform that doesn't have that problem. The only difference is that it's a bit thicker. Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, our final obstacle is a door. You don't actually have to go through the door, because X will just teleport in. Leads me to believe that X and Zero just really don't like doors. They just take detours so they can destroy them. Here we have a split path. You can go forward or downward, and I'll be going downwards this time around. Taking damage in the ride armor, for some reason, counts at the end of the level, so I'll do my best not to do that. As in X4, the enemy's types are Raidens, and so is the ride armor we're in. And as before, most of them don't move, except for these ones. There are exactly two that are completely ballistic and will just ram at you. But then they calmly stop and wait, which is... I mean, nothing here is a threat. The only possible problems you could have in this segment is if you, for some reason, decided to jump out of the ride armor. Which, I mean, come on. You'd have to be a fool to do that. I've only done it twice. If you do take too much damage, which is very difficult, you're given quite a long time before the ride armor explodes, and you can usually make it out anyway. Oh yes, and bats. They're not threatening. They're just there. Down the rabbit hole, and it's time to enter the Mattrex. With a double-wide boss corridor, just because he's awesome. And a very cool boss background. X5 had some particularly awesome backgrounds. Why have you come this far? I want your booster engine. I have evidence that this is a secret warehouse for weapons. You know what's happening to the Earth. Now give it to me. Yes, whatever you say. That's what you expect to hear from me, right? You know nobody will obey like that, don't you? So why don't you fight as always and force me to give it to you? That is, if you have the guts to. Why do Reploids always have to fight each other? Darn, do I have to fight again? Come on now, X, it's not even the 7th game. Why you being a pansy? Stop whining. Come, it's time to do what we do best. Let's fight and enjoy ourselves, just like always. His first phase, Mattrex has 2 attacks. He likes to jump at you, and then he'll either use the ground fire, or a dashing attack. If he jumps twice, he has a tendency, I say tendency because he just didn't do it, but a tendency to use his dashing attack. Jumping once, same idea, he'll use the ground fire, usually. Not always, just usually. There's a dashing attack. For the most part, you can dodge all of his moves just by sitting on the wall, and I like to jump over his, or dash underneath his jump, because it's, you know, safer. Rather not get cornered, you know? And that's pretty much the first phase. It's nothing too hard. Most fire Mavericks are all about reflexes. Mattrex is kind of reflexes, but it's also a lot about anticipation. You can see what he's about to do just before he does it, and you always know that after a jump, you probably want to get onto the wall. His second phase, things change a bit. He can ram at you, and then he'll either do the ram attack or the dashing attack, or if he sits on the wall, he can also shoot flames in your direction. Like that. It's either 3 or 4 flames, never 2, never 5. But always make sure to stand close, so you can avoid the ramming attack in case he uses it. And that's the second phase. Let's hope he gets into the third phase quickly, because it's the easiest. One tricky thing is when he's transitioning from second to third phase, you have to make sure to be in the correct position. Here he's in the third phase now. So he'll do a lot of ramming, and he has 2 new attacks, where he'll engulf the ground in fire, or make fire spit from the ground. Here you want to stay always on the far corner, because you can easily tell what he's about to do. If he steps back, he's going to use the downward fire attack. And if he steps back and doesn't start doing the downward fire attack, he's going to do that rushing attack. Third phase is arguably his easiest phase, because it's very strictly pattern-based. And when Mattrex dies, he looks really funny. I gotta love that face. He looks so surprised. He's like, oh my god, my awesome was not enough. I couldn't kill him. And there you have it. He's not quite as exciting and reflex-based as most Mavericks that are fire, but he's still pretty awesome. Ooh, I got a GA rank. Cool. Got DNA data. We got the ground fire, but I showed that off in the previous videos. A darn awesome red color scheme. I think I've shown it off, so I won't really explain it. But, yeah, that's that. We've also got, from, I believe that would have been the Skyver, the jumper part. And the booster engine. So, let's save. And now, before anything else happens, I have to show off that second area. Remember there was a split path? I'll get that in the extras. So, see you in a moment. And we're back. This time we're going forward instead of downwards. You still have to hop into the ride armor, but then you have to ditch it. The big old pterodactyl behind us is called Terra Noid. It's a... well, it shoots out rocks larger than its own head, so yeah. Or neck, for that matter. Knowing Capcom's luck with dinosaurs, I'm not too surprised. Does anyone remember Tyrannos, the Triceratops from X2, named after a Tyrannosaurus? Yeah. This thing's probably supposed to be a Stegosaurus, they just screwed up on it. As a note, the platforms that you're standing on for most of this area can take damage, and if they take too much damage, which would be 2 shots from either a bomb or a rock from the Terra Noid, they'll explode. So yeah, that's a good thing to keep out. And here I think I want to duck. Yeah. After 2 rock shots, the Terra Noid will lunge at you. You have to know whether to jump over it or duck, and this time seems to be the season of ducking, which is good, because ducking is actually easier. It's about 4 total spears before you can kill it. And I guess we're ducking again. I like it when that happens. Ducking is a heck of a lot easier than jumping over. It's all just about timing. If you're really unlucky, it's impossible to dodge this thing. Very rare, but it does happen. And there you have it. That's the Terra Noid. And then you enter this little door, and you come out right back where the ride armor left you. So let's get those extras. The first extra is right at the beginning of the stage. Keep on moving fast, but go left instead of right, and you can get yourself a heart container. You don't have to worry about the lava, it's way up top, rather than being, well, to the side. Actually, it doesn't look like the lava's coming at all. Huh, that's weird. And yet, there it is. Oh well, let's move on to the second extra, eh? And extra number 2. Rather than going up here, you want to drop down. And of course, kill a bunch of things. Hop up these little I said hop up, not hit the ceiling. Come on now. There we go. And we have a tricky jump. It's a lot easier with the Falcon armor, but if you time it just right, you can get out. This is the program for the arm part of the Gaia armor. With the arm part equipped, you can attack with the Gaia shot. While the range of the Gaia shot is short, it's powerful, and it can neutralize the enemy's energy bullets. Also, you can break a certain brick. Which is, again, basically just shows the Gaia armor is almost entirely for getting power-ups. Lovely! Outtakes time. There's quite a few of those. Mostly from the second detour area. Enjoy! The big dragon heads here are called something like that. Dragon magma. I keep trying to say... I have no words for something that stupid. They shoot fire, but as long as you're fast, or in the very last area, slow... Oh no, you're dying. I don't even care. You're gonna die. And later I'm gonna go kill Alia for stopping... Well, that was irony. This becomes slightly more interesting in a moment, where we have lower platforms that are shadowy, and I'm about to die. Okay, that was bad. In its own head. Which, you know, makes sense. Whoa! Okay, that was bad. As a note, if the... Well, that was a double combo. And now we're on to fighting the Terra Noid. Assuming I can jump properly. Okay, let's do this again. Oh, come on now! For a normal player, the only real dangers there are is either jumping out of the ride armor, which is something only a fool would do. Oh, come on! Whoa, that was... What the hell just happened? Okay, this isn't gonna end well. Duck down! That didn't work. I have no idea how I was supposed to dodge that, because if you're sitting on the wall, you'll die. Especially his final phase, which is a complete joke. And admittedly, I got lucky there. If he'd rammed me, I probably would have taken damage. You have to be forward so you can dash backwards. See? I called it. Or sorry, 3 or 4. Oh gosh. Oh, wow, he hit me with his fist. I just got punched by Mattrex. That's lovely. Whoa, that was bad. But I'm still alive? This is the eon of... Whoa! Aw, dang it. I was gonna say close calls, but then I had a close call and got hit. Fire Mavericks, Flame Mammoth not included because he's a bloated sack of suck, are generally on the higher end of difficulty. They're fast and powerful, and they rely on reflexes. Does Mattrex live up to that? Sadly, no. He gets a 3 out of 10. The hardest part of this level is the Terra Noid, but that thing's optional, so I can't really include it. Otherwise, if you're patient, the level is extremely easy, and then the boss, as awesome as he is more about anticipation than reflexes. You can mostly tell what set of attacks he's about to perform well in advance, and the strategy for dodging that set is always the same. If he's on the far wall, stand close, then dash back. If he jumps over you, stick to a wall if you have room, dash underneath if you don't, and then stick to the wall to avoid his attack. His third phase is a complete joke. He waits a good period of time before attacking, so even though his 3 attacks look threatening, they're all very easy to avoid. Mattrex, honestly, he intimidated me early on, but once I figured out his pattern, he was no problem. He was still fun, but he was definitely easy. Up next, we've got the final Maverick. Until then, this is Kevvl, signing off. Ciao.